And then you see a new episode started.
That was a really good joke.
Thanks, I'm really proud of that one.
I had some grapes and some rock melon and some water, and I feel a little bit less hyped. Well, not less hyped, but less...
Drained?
Drained. But you know what? I'm ready to keep going. I feel like this has to be feathering, right? Let's see, let's keep going. Hit the spacebar real quick. Are these? Oh, these are just like some random like company people. I don't want to go with any advice.
And then you see, we'll set it up so that among the works entered in Company X's mystery novel contest, yet another one of these great Hachijo's works will appear under a false name.
Of course, we'll then move on with a movie version, a TV drama bundled in. We here at Company X will be honored to accept your manuscripts. And am I getting prize money out of this?
But of course, the 10 million yen prize for Company X's first mystery novel contest will go all to you. And much more besides.
But you lose all rights. Splendid! You've caught my interest. That's why I decided not to write up a manuscript for you. What?
Madam Hachijo, why?
Everything had seemed to be going so smoothly up until then, so this sudden refusal made the people from the publishing company fall over in their sofa. This little scheme of yours is far more interesting than the manuscript I wrote. In that case, it wouldn't be fitting to hand it over to you. It was always a worthless story. I wanted to lure my ignorant readers into lauding it, making them feel as though they performed some magnificent reasoning. I was hoping that you children of men would recognize the irony and laugh at your mistake, but it looks like you've taken it seriously. Yes, I can say I'm ashamed of my own failure as a writer.
Of course not. Please forgive us. Please let us use your...
I have no need for money, but some pet food would be nice. Pet food? For your cat.
There was a rumor you had a cat who liked dried plums. Yes, as you wish. Quickly, let's have a high-quality assortment of dried plums brought in here.
She only eats the ones that are packaged separately, 200 yen apiece. At this rate, she'll die of high blood pressure. She smacks on kimchi and spicy miso all the time, too. Really, there must be something wrong with that cat's tongue. Meep. The cat meowed in objection from where it lay on top of the bookshelf. I cannot give you this manuscript, but why don't I write up a new one for your company's contest? However, I won't write it under my name. It's estimated that thousands of manuscripts will be sent in for your contest. If you manage to pick mine out from the pack, and if you also find it deserving of the prize, then I will be happy to continue our discussion just now. How does that sound? Just the honor of receiving your manuscript is more than enough. You people truly are amusing, farting and cringing all the time. But I've grown weary of this for today. Leave now. Meeting with children of men can be so tiring.
We're deeply grateful for your kindness in allowing us this meeting.
And then they run out the door. A servant guided the people from the publishing company to the door. In the study that was now finally quiet, Hachijo Toya let out a sigh, sunk down on the sofa, and gazed at the ceiling. It is tiring, but a simulation of talking with a child of man isn't such a bad thing. It's small doses. It's good for you to talk to people every now and then. Who goes senile if you stay shut in all the time? The black cat leapt from the bookshelf and landed softly on the carpet. Hey, Burn. Then its form silently twisted and became that of Berncastle. Indeed. They certainly can be entertaining. Inviting them over now and then may go a long way towards alleviating my boredom. At any rate, I think I'll write that manuscript when I feel like it. It sounds like they'll even bring a gift for you. What's all this about pet food? How rude. Well, that's what it is. Here. Hachijo picked up a jar from a shelf, then took a dried plum out and threw it into the air. In an instant, Berncastle turned back into a black cat, caught it in midair, and started munching away. You can play the servant, if you like.
Okay. Madam Hachijo, your guests have departed.
A servant knocked on the door before making this announcement. Thank you! Let me know if that one wakes up.
As you wish. Would you like some tea?
No, I'm going to write for a bit. Please do not disturb me.
Yes, ma'am.
After waiting for the servant's footsteps to disappear into the distance, Hachijo moved to her desk. The desk certainly looked as though it belonged to a great writer, with pages of manuscripts scattered across it. Even though the century's almost over, you still write with a pen. Oops, my bad. I fucked that up.
Yes, you did.
You know what, that's fine.
I was about to correct you, but I decided it'd be more interesting to give Ryukishi 20 points.
Fuck, I fucked up again. The black cat spoke as it tore the dried plum apart with its mouth. Tales will be written with ink. To me, that is an unbreakable rule. So, you write it once with ink, then type the whole thing over again with a keyboard. Pretty stupid doing the same thing twice. In that case, why does a child of man drop a tale in their mind, then spit the whole thing out again on a keyboard? How foolish of them to do the same thing twice. Look at it that way, and you're doing the same thing 3 times. That was a good one. Even as Hachijo laughed, a fountain pen was already sliding across the page. Beautiful letters appeared almost as fast and proficiently as a typewriter. Only humans called her creations manuscripts. With her fountain pen and writing paper, she was creating a world. As she did, the hands of the clock would spin around like a top. The light and shadows that came into the window changed their angles so fast, they might have been the hands of a clock themselves. Slowly, she drew a large X across the tightly packed words on the paper. Having trouble? I can't draw it out well. Writing a manuscript to please people is truly a pain. After all, I don't usually write for other people to read. You should try writing down whatever it is you're saying on that manuscript paper. Bencastle curled up on the sofa, a mocking smile on her face. Normally, whenever Hachijo was writing, Bencastle would never let herself be noticed, much less talk to her. However, Bencastle realized that the other was apparently getting bored with her manuscript, so she yawned and started talking. What is it you're writing, anyway? A tale to give to a child of man. Which child of man? It's a tale that I promised to write for Umineko, who once read for me. Ah, you're still writing that? I can't think of anything to write that would give her satisfaction. Looks like Alo's giving up yet again. You always promised to write a story, then get stuck before you finish and give up. If I had given up, I wouldn't be worrying over it like this. There's only one tale that I just wanted from the beginning. The tale of the single truth. Anjay said she wanted to know what happened that day. No matter how many tales you write distorting the truth, she'll never be satisfied. And yet, I do think my tales are far more interesting than the single truth. Anjay doesn't want to read an interesting tale. I promised that child of man that I would write a tale for her sake. So I'm writing a tale to please her. No matter how interesting or uninteresting it is, everything you write is an illusion. Anjay doesn't want any of that. Haven't you figured that one out yet? The Book of the Single Truth was written by Ashurmia Ava. Hidden amongst the pile of writing paper was Ava's diary. Furthermore, the one who wrote this passed away without revealing it to anyone. Being the humble writer that I am, I would like to respect that. Don't make me laugh. Is this coming from the person who entertains herself by taking a tale and tearing out its guts? The truth is uninteresting. Is that your opinion after tearing apart the guts of so many tales? You might as well say that. With a self-mocking laugh, Hachijo set down her fountain pen. I certainly have aged. The first thing age taught me was that not knowing is more precious than knowing. That definitely sounds like something an old person would say, but albeit, what do you mean? Knowing and not knowing. These two things have a one-way relationship. True. It's possible to switch from not knowing to knowing, but you can't do it the other way around. When I realized that, I saw the noble purity resembling virginity that exists in not knowing. In my attempts to escape boredom, I've torn apart and eaten the guts of so many games, of as many games and tales as there are stars in the sky. But always, my relief from boredom is short-lived. It's all so fleeting that I've started to ignore each tale as an individual story. That's right. If you eat a cat, then you only get to enjoy it for one night. But if you let it live, it might start calling you names and getting sarcastic. Indeed. Even the annoying way they break into your sweets cupboard or sneak into your bed can be part of their charm. Hachijo looked around at the books covering every square inch of the room, then softly petted the cat's back. I might have been able to enjoy a single tale much longer and much more deeply, as I've eaten my way through countless tales to escape boredom. I haven't really been eating them. I've just been killing them. And in the end, they'll kill me back. Hachijo laughed with self-derision. Oh god.
Yes, Burn.
I think so, yeah. Even in Beato's game, you tried to tear the guts out. I just wanted to check my answers. I did try to do it in a way that respected Beatrice, the weaver of this tale. Yeah. I think it was pretty well read, all done so that people who didn't understand wouldn't figure it out. Will it make for a better tale if Angie learns the truth, or if she doesn't? To be honest, I don't know anymore, so, fully aware that you'll scorn me for it, I've decided to stop writing the rest of this tale. What do you mean? I won't write it. I'll merely record it. The tale that Hashumiya Angie weaves herself. So, you're going to do that sort of thing again? After growing tired of 1,000 years of life, I've decided that choosing not to know the truth is the more noble path. However, I now see that it isn't fair to force my opinion on Angie, who hasn't lived even 100 years. So, you're going to leave it in Angie's care? Yes, and I will stand to record it as it plays out. If you're leaving it to Angie, then the rest of this tale is pretty much set in stone, right? So it would seem. Let it be so. After all, in the end, the tale that a child of man weaves for herself would be more fun than any story I could create. In that case, why don't you lend a hand in Angie's tale? You've already given yourself a role in it, haven't you? So, is it my role to bring this tale to its conclusion? Come on. That's no way for someone in Beato's game to talk. It's your job to tear the guts out of the cat box. Hachijo chuckled, pushed aside the pile of writing paper, and picked up the Book of the Single Truth. Then she opened a locked drawer. That is what Angie desires. Perhaps this book's seal is fated to be broken. Angie will reach the single truth. The single truth will break the seal in the cat box, and everything will then be exposed to the light of day. And so, all of those countless message bottles and fragments made up of delightful imaginings, which have been scattered across the ocean of the internet, will fade away like foam on the sea, and on those forum boards that people theorize on and collaborate. After all, even that person is surely tired of such fragments. It's about time for that kid's journey to end, too. Yes, let us accept this task. As our role demands, let's give this journey an end of the line. At that moment, there were sounds of someone in the hallway. The instant someone knocked on the door, Castle turned back into a black cat.
Madam Hachijo, please forgive me for interrupting.
It was the voice of Hachijo's servant. What is it? If it's a phone call, tell them I'm busy.
It isn't that. Toya-sama has woken up.
Ah, thank you. Prepare a light meal. Enough for the two of us.
Like, okay, I just want to point out here.
Yeah?
I think the OMG, she's not Toya. It's like shocking, but also it's like, yeah, okay, of course that's what it is.
Yeah.
Of course that's what it is.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Your line.
As you wish.
Hachijo stood up. Then she shut the open drawer and locked it again. Inside that drawer lay a glittering golden key. Let's jump back, dudes. Let's go. Repeat it! The definition of a closed room prevents all varieties of entering and exiting.
I refuse. By definition, it's impossible for a closed room murder to take place inside a perfect closed room.
Nailed it.
The chain might have been repaired after it was destroyed. The door might have been repaired after it was destroyed. The wall might have been repaired after it was destroyed.
My closed room doesn't involve anything being repaired.
Good. This really is getting fun, Bat-san.
Sorry, but I don't have time to play with you right now.
I'm sorry too, but as a fellow witch of truth, I can't let you get in Angie-san's way.
Come to think of it, you're a witch of truth too, aren't you? Huh. Guess it makes you sort of a mentor to Angie.
The single truth. It is the supreme, the ultimate. Only a witch of truth can break down all barriers that stand between her and that truth.
Is this single truth of yours really so important? There are lots of things in this world that aren't worth knowing. How important is 1986 to Angie, really? It isn't important at all.
You're probably right. No matter what happened or didn't happen in 1986, it won't change anything for the Andre living in 1998. There's no point in learning that truth. However, there is just one thing that will change.
What's that?
How she lives.
Erica transformed her reasoning into a scythe blade and lashed out at Battler over and over. Battler also created a blade from his reasoning and attacked Erica over and over. In the middle of all this, he questioned Erica, the girl who, like Angie, called herself a witch of truth. Because what is the point of exposing the truth?
You're right. Knowing often changes how a person lives their life. In that case, I have one hope as her blood relative. I hope that at the end of my game, Angie finds a better way to live her life.
Knowing may change how people live, but not always in a good direction. There are plenty of things in this world that you'd be more comfortable not knowing.
A number of ticks living in the seats of a train. Urban legends about nasty stuff in tap water. Well, it's full of things you'd be better off not knowing.
Hit it or more. Yeah, Battler. It's gonna be Battler.
Book of Single Truth probably can teach Angie what happened on this island, but what's the point of her knowing that? It'll just increase the sadness she's felt for 12 years. How many more years will it take her for her to find happiness as an ordinary girl? How many years will it take for her wounds to be healed?
And his desire to find the truth is hurting her, regardless of what the truth actually is. Though her deep wounds were slow to heal, they did begin to do so during those 12 years. However, Angie kept picking at the scabs. In her search for the truth, she tore at those wounds herself, opening them up once more.
Time for Angie to be free of the sadness of 1986. That's what all of us assure me is pray for.
Who cares about that? The truth is everything. The truth is justice.
It's a disease everyone gets at least once, usually in middle school. They just love to find out all those things adults are hiding.
But don't you think it's fun to expose things like that?
Yeah, totally. Reading dirty books wouldn't be nearly so fun if you didn't have to do it in secret. Why are there two quotation marks at one end but not the
I
other?
don't fucking know. I think you joined in on the joke just then. I think we both laughed there. I deny all of your blue wedges with the red truth. None of the methods you suggest could defeat my closed room, defying as well. Angie was breathing heavily. The book of the single truth was right before her eyes. She could just defeat Beato, she'd be able to take the book back to Bernkastel, and then she could read what was inside. Even though the truth of the final family conference on October 4th and 5th of 1986 was right there, the Golden Witch stood in her way. Her anger and hatred spun around inside her head, wiping out the composure necessary to theory making. Angie shook her head several times, clearing away everything that got in the way of calming her mind. However, no matter how many times she thought it through, the closed room sealing her in the chapel was perfect. Angie wasn't particularly familiar with the mystery genre. However, she knew about all the fragments containing Beata's games so far. Her knowledge was shallow, but it should still have been enough to give her a good foothold. However, no matter how many blue truths she shot at Beato, none of them even made the witch flinch. Beato just blew them apart with the red truth, and an elegant wave of her pipe. It's about time you gave up. I don't even view this as a game between the two of us.
You're implying that I could never solve this puzzle?
I'm just buying time until Battler finishes dealing with Erica. He's the only one who can bring you to your senses.
Bring me to my senses. You're the ones making me do this by hiding the single truth. That's why I'm fighting you. This is my right. As a final member of the Ashirmia family, I have a right to know the truth.
Indeed, and that is the purpose of this final game.
That's right. Without this final game, I wouldn't have been given a chance to reach the truth. At least for that one thing, I'm grateful.
But as for what happened in 1986, as for who took your relatives and your family away from you, as a human, your desire to know the truth is quite natural. However, even knowing this, Battler decided that it would be best if you didn't return to 1986.
I know what Oni-chan's trying to say. He's telling me to look to the future and live instead of being stuck in the past, right?
Correct. Battler wanted to use his final game to show you that.
In that case, there's no need to keep waiting for my answer. The answer's no, Golden Witch. I died back in 1986. I've wandered about like a ghost for 12 years since then. When Aunt Ava died, I lost my only reason to stick around on this earth as a ghost. That's why I decided to do one last thing before ending my life.
And that thing is learning the truth in 1986?
Yeah, you got a problem with that?
Yes, of course I do, you foolish girl! So if you do reach the truth, you'll die! In that case, I can't let you have it! I must trick you and blind you as much as I can to keep you alive! Battler wants you to live!
Living without truth is no better than dying. I'm trying to find the truth so I can live.
You just admitted that you were searching for the truth so you could die!
Yeah, that's right. And let me rephrase that. I'm trying to find the truth so I can die. I offered up my life when I made that contract with Burncastle. Also, I could learn what happened on that day. The single truth would be the souvenir I take with me to hell.
Damn! It's useless you cannot break this closed room. This closed room is perfect, and yet I will kill you in this closed room. She had tried every theory, idea, and every bit of nonsense she could think of. However, none of it had even any effect on Beato. Powerless and frustrated with the book of the single truth right before her eyes, Anjay bit her lower lip. At first, this was supposed to be a game in which you were given a key that would let you decide your future.
Liar, you wanted to hide the truth in this chapel, then make me choose a door that leads to some optimistic future. That's not a choice, you're trying to decide for me.
Parents have the right to prevent their children from making unsuitable choices.
I'm not a kid. I'm an 18-year-old woman who can think and act for herself.
Fool! You're just a 6-year-old girl who can't think of anything except the past.
And whose fault is that? Because of you, I've been stuck as a 6-year-old all this time. Now it's time for me to tear apart your illusion covering the truth. And now that I think about it, it's not this chapel that you've locked me inside. Since that day in 1986, for all these years, you've had me locked away in a closed room where I'm all alone, where no one will tell me the truth. Now I'll tear your closed room apart with my own hands. Yeah, it's useless. It's all useless. I know the trick to your perfect closed room. Repeat it. You murdered me immediately after shutting me into this closed room.
I refuse.
Of course, you've been killing me for 18 years. Thanks, Beatrice. If you hadn't reminded me, I wouldn't have figured out the trick.
Anjay, you are young and you have a long future ahead of you. In fact, you're the golden witch who lives in the future, are you not? Then live on in the future. That's how much a past truth is really worth. Don't they pale in comparison to the truth of the future? The truth you create yourself.
My life is trash. My whole family died, leaving just me behind. That's why I'm going back to them once I've gotten my single truth.
If you learn the truth, you just have to accept your family's deaths. Haven't you even thought about living on? Hoping that by some miracle one of them might have survived, and that someday you might get a chance to see them again.
I'm not worried about that. Even the Witch of Miracles couldn't find a fragment like that. It's true, because miracles don't exist.
It's true, they don't exist. In the Great Agrikinja explosion, almost none of the family's remains were recovered.
Some days I hope this might be a sign that they'd escaped the explosion and survived. That hope gave me the strength to live on. However, that hope wasn't strong enough to support me for 12 long years. So even though I wanted to know the truth, I unconsciously averted my eyes. I felt that learning my family's deaths for certain would force me to deny any possibility of someone miraculously surviving. But I'm tired of living on and on with nothing but that impossible hope of a miracle to keep me going. That's why I decided to accept my family's deaths. I decided to accept the truth no matter what it is. That's why I became a Witch of Truth.
How foolish. To be blinded by the truth of the past and unable to see one's own future. Forgive me, Battler. I was not strong enough to guide your sister properly.
It's kind of fitting, right, that the person that couldn't see to the future and have hope and decided to kill the entire family is the one giving this speech?
Trying to help Angie?
Yeah.
Absolutely. A blazing blue wedge appeared in Andre's hand. It was long, thick, and shaped like a spear.
This is the end, Witch of 1986. This closed room is perfect. Therefore, I can't get out and you can't lay a finger on me from the outside. However, you locked me into this room, so we can say you killed me with this simple trick. You shut me in this perfect closed room and made me starve to death. Since you intentionally did this, it's totally fair to say this is a closed room murder with you as the killer. Looks like being overly vague with the cause of death backfired on you. So long, Witch of Illusions. See you in hell.
Damn! Nasty trick. With a stained glass window behind her, Beato spread her arms and let the spear of the blue truth pierce her. The blue spear seemed to crucify Beato against the window.
Game set. So this is Aunt Ava's diary, the book of single truth.
Anjay picked the book up from where it lay on the altar, sealed in crystal. If you read that, then by your contact with Burncastle, you will die. Learning the truth just to die. Ridiculous!
That's right. I'm looking for the truth so I can die. They let me choose how I go. I'm not an idiot. I know the real me is still floating in that starry sky. Burncastle acknowledged me as the final Beatrice and invited me on a journey to learn the truth of 1986. I won't be able to return here again. When Burcastle told me and walked off the roof into black sky, I followed her into the empty air. This was the contract. I wanted two things from Burncastle. One was for someone from my family to come back. The other was revenge. I wanted to destroy the illusion of the witch that hid the events of that day. I wanted to reach the truth. However, the first of my wishes couldn't come true. After all, even the Witch of Miracles couldn't find a fragment where my family comes home. So she wordlessly questioned me. She told me I couldn't reach the truth unless I had the courage to end this worthless life, where I lived like a ghost hoping someone might come back. So she walked out into the open air and I followed her. Yeah, now I understand. When I offered to trade away my life, I made one wish and gave up on another. I wished for revenge against the illusion hiding the truth. Now I've succeeded in that revenge, defeating the master of that illusion and obtaining the book of a single truth. What I gave up was my naivety, continuing to believe that someone from my family might come back. Now I can accept that my entire family is dead. Can you make someone alive just because no one knows any different? These cat boxes you talk about are just naive delusions. The idea that a corpse can live as long as you keep it hidden. And even if you hide a corpse, it's still dead. You really think you can heal my wounds by saying they'll always be watching over me from the clouds, like some kind of fairy tale? I'm Angie Beatrice, a wish of truth. I'll free myself from the life as a ghost, waiting for a miracle that'll never happen. I'll end my life as a noble martyr who's reached the truth.
Didn't you once come to understand the power of magic through Maria's grimoire?
Yeah, I understood it. And I despaired when I realized how powerless it was. That's what Onichan is trying to force me to use now, isn't it? If I use magic, then my family will always be by my side. Don't take me for a fool. I think that kind of magic and illusion of daydream can heal those 12 years. How am I supposed to go on for decades and decades into the future? Someone come back to me. Someone! No one's coming back. So at least tell me what happened that day. Burncastle said she'd tell me. My master, I have the book of a single truth. I'll take it back to you, so give me the truth. For so long I've been prepared to throw away my naive hopes for a miracle. Now tell me the truth of that day.
Blinding light poured out of the chapel. It seeped from the windows and the cracks of the door, even reaching as far as Battler's and Erica's eyes.
What?
It seems Comrade Angie has completed her task. It looks like you'll have set up some pathetic seal, but to my master, that'll be easier than throwing frozen sorry fish.
Damn.
Master said I could play with you until Angie finished her task. I've had enough fun from this reunion, so I think it's time for me to leave.
Erica gave an elegant curtsy.
Why'd you talk Angie into looking for the single truth? Your master must know. Truth doesn't mean anything to Angie.
Yes, all truths in this world are meaningless. In the end, meaning comes to the mind of each individual human. Even when there is a single truth, it can mean different things to different people. The truth has no meaning in itself. There's just one reason why I'm still stuck on the truth despite it all.
Because you're the detective?
Good! But Angie's son isn't a detective. To her, the truth itself is the finish line. A way to mark the end of her unhappy life. Now she's finally finished the final purification ceremony. She's a one-night witch of truth, focusing on learning a certain single truth before she dies. A temporary witch with a short time until she slams against the ground.
We'll let Angie die. No matter how tough it gets, she has to live. That's the only thing all of us want. If she lives, all sorts of magic and miracles would be possible.
If only you'd put your arm around her shoulder and told her that directly, you might not have lost. What do you think? Just by hearing you howl, this level of reasoning is possible for Furuta Erica.
Live, Angie!
Angie! He yelled towards the chapel, but Angie probably wasn't even there anymore. Battler's yell was swallowed by the empty pitch-black sky and the sea of rampaging goats.
Comrade Ava, our mission is complete. Let's withdraw.
Oh, we've done already, and I was just about to tear the island apart with my own Ava culprit theory.
Ava appeared in midair and cackled.
Sorry, Battler-kun, that I wasn't strong enough. For 12 years, I protected that kid in my own way.
I'm grateful.
However, she's decided this for herself. She's 18 years old now. Don't you think people should decide how they live in their own lives?
Sorry for being a doting big brother.
Later, I am Lady Burncastle's piece at the moment. It's time for me to go.
I'll see you later, Comrade Ava.
Ava held her palm open, and a small, pointy blue fragment appeared there. The fragment burst, and with a blinding flash of light, Ava vanished. It was the same light that had seeped out of the chapel earlier. Pieces cannot leave the game board. However, the Voyager witches alone could come and go. This was probably some sort of magic that Burncastle had given them. Erica opened her palm as well, and the same sort of fragment appeared there.
That's enough for now, I think. Who knows? This might be the last time we meet.
Wait, we haven't settled our fight yet.
If he could steal the fragment in Erica's hand, he would be able to go to where Burnt Castle was. The seal surrounding the Book of the Single Truth would probably be melted easily with Burnt Castle's power. However, even so, it would take her some time. If he could steal that fragment, he would have a chance at bringing Anjay back.
What is there to settle? Time's up. However, if you feel like taking one last hit, I'd be happy to oblige.
Battler had known that Erica wouldn't be able to resist the challenge. After all, he already knew what her trick was. He'd figured it out just a second ago. Even while he spoke with Erica, he had been thinking about it inside his mind. He could finish her with his last strike and take the fragment.
Let's go, Erica. This'll decide it.
This clash will be the last before I go, so go ahead and give me the craziest of your hilarious theories.
Your closed room definition stated the walls, windows, floor, ceiling, and chain were all unbeatable. However, there was one possibility that I didn't check because it was too ridiculous. And that was whether or not the chain could be set from the outside. Blue truth. This is the answer to your closed room. The length of the chain. Chain for your closed room was extra long, so it's possible to set and unset it from the outside of the room.
What a ridiculous answer. However, if you blindly assume that a lock made by an unbreakable chain makes a closed room unbeatable, then this truly would be a perfect closed room. The blue wedge flung from Battler's hand plunged straight into Erica's chest. As she winced in pain, her hand shook, and the fragment she held flew into the air. Oh, shit.
Closed room definition stated that the walls, windows, floor, and chain were all unbeatable. However, wasn't there really one ridiculous thing missing?
Oops.
Blue truth!
Oh.
My bad.
Your closed room had no ceiling, so it was possible to enter by climbing over the wall.
5 points to Ryux.
5 points to Ryux.
That's ridiculous. This is so fucking absurd.
It's great. Erica's blue scythe swung out from behind her back, catching Battler in the side as he stretched his hand out towards the fragment. Battler's hand didn't reach it. The fragment returned to Erica's hands once more. That's fucking cheap, dude.
It looks like our tricks were equally ridiculous. The mystery nuts would have been furious, don't you think? But I disagree. To me, the process of exposing that ridiculousness is ecstasy. That's why I'm through to Erica, the detective.
Damn it, you figured the answer out a while back, didn't you?
Not true. I thought it up between the time you let loose your blue truth and the time you stretched your hand out to grab the fragment. I've just been buying time since the beginning. I only started reasoning a second ago.
Erica broke the crystal barrier that surrounded them. Then, she flew high up into the sky, looking down on Battler and laughing at him as she gave a final bow.
So long, Bat the Sun! Even this has been my only time to shine, even if I've outlived my usefulness and am about to be thrown back into the depths of oblivion. Even so, I have no regrets.
Wait.
Like she'd actually wait.
It's because I told her to.
The blinding flash, Erica vanished. Anjay retrieved the Book of the Single Truth and returned to Burnt Castle. Battler and the others had no way to leave the game board. Everything had come to an end. Of the world.
Nice, good touch. Well done.
References.
A gold butterfly flitted by and
I was
Beto
having a
appeared.
drink!
Hurry up.
A gold butterfly flitted by, and Beto appeared. My apologies, Battler. I let Anjay get away.
Sorry too. You've let them escape. It's all over.
Battler had created this game for Anjay. Now that Anjay was gone, the game board no longer had any purpose. And even if that hadn't been the case, the game board itself had been chewed to bits by the goats, and was now like a single leaf floating on a sea of nothingness. Thanks to Gertrude and Cornelia's seals, the mansion was protected from the second floor up. The door to the Golden Land was now open wide enough for a child to slip through. The smaller people, like Maria and Sakataro, went through it.
My friend, I believe the door is opening at a quicker pace.
Indeed. To my eyes as well, it seems to be so.
Father, is the door open yet? It looks like they're about to break through the windows.
Yes, Sama, there is no need for you to fear, and there is on the Jungfrau barrier is not so easily broken. Very soon, it'll be big enough for the adults to go through too. Don't worry, we'll make it in time.
But there's knocking and banging everywhere and...
Stay calm and wait. After all, there's nothing else we can do.
Even the outer walls of the mansion were covered with goats, and they were plunging their fangs and fists into the walls and windows trying to crush them. So, anyone watching the goats sucked all the windows in the hallway, smashing their thick arms against the windows, couldn't help but be terrified, even if they knew about the barrier. However, anyone watching the group of goats gather at the top of the big staircase on the other side of the barrier would probably feel a different emotion. Rather than terror, it was a sad, empty sort of emotion. The barrier was drawn across the landing at the top of the hall's great staircase. Beyond that barrier, everything had already been eaten away. Was it even possible for those who stood in the hallway of the upper floors to believe that this was the Rokkenjima mansion? By now, no one looking at this scene would be able to imagine such a thing. Forget the hall, or even the whole first floor. Even the ground itself was almost gone. The sea of goats had eaten everything apart long before this. They had eaten apart the hall, the pillars of the mansion, the floor, the ground, the sea, the very concept of the island, every part of the game board Battler had created. And now, the only leftover was the upper part of the mansion, which floated along in empty space.
How pitiful.
To what do you refer?
Everything.
The goats, in their eagerness to chew this island apart, have eaten up even the ground they stood on, dropping themselves into nothingness.
This had once been a huge entrance hall. Beyond it had been a vast rose garden. There had been so many places to stand upon. However, now, holes had been dug everywhere, and nearly everything outside the mansion was completely gone. Some goats were clutching to the few remaining footholds and pillars, still eating away at them.
Let it be known that exposing the truth is murder.
Why can't humans live without killing? I wonder. Throughout their long history, so many have prayed for miracles, but in the end they eat up their own chances at receiving them, eating up the very ground they stand on and falling into the abyss.
They saw a goat chewing the same pillar that was holding it up, which, unsurprisingly, fell into the empty blackness along with the goat.
Huh? I think it was Leon.
Leon, interesting. Humans are sad creatures, fated to live in order to learn. If learning means eating away at the same hopes and dreams that keep you alive, that would mean humans are born just so they can die. We're taught that we have to live, however, almost everything that we accomplish in life ends up killing us.
Don't think about it. You'll just get a headache.
As a single human, I want to ask, is learning a sin? Is living in ignorance the only way we can have hopes and dreams?
Both living with knowledge and living in ignorance have their benefits, as well as their shortcomings. You're even free to choose which path you take. That's what makes humans powerless.
While people can learn, they cannot unlearn. And so, the all-knowing good God has stepped in for the sake of humans who cannot unlearn, marking out things that should be learned and things that should not be learned.
Too much curiosity can kill your hopes and dreams.
Humans are pitiable beings who are unable to simply avoid these things which should not be learned. Lord Battler can hardly be blamed for failing to teach Angie this.
Now Angie's gone. This game is over. Oh. Oh, come on! We get points for that. We get 3 points for that.
Yeah, I'll take 3 points.
Struck dumb by Will's words, everyone fell silent. Only the sound of the goats eating everything away rang out hollowly. Even if they escaped to the Golden Land, the goats of emptiness would probably chew into that realm as well. Even if they got away for the time being, nothing would be resolved. It was all set in stone now. They had no way to resist the future's violent attempts to tear the catbox of the past open. In that case, we must stay alive. If a human's foolishness makes them throw away their own hopes and dreams at the end, then I want to believe in those things until the last second.
Your resolve is impressive.
I'm the one hope held by Beatrices of a million worlds, so even at times like this, I have to be everyone's hope. I'm not giving up on this game yet.
By which you mean?
I'll keep waiting, believing in a miracle until the last second.
So you'll keep struggling on and on until it's all over.
That's right. After all, last time when we were surrounded by that pack of terrifying cats, we were prepared for death, weren't we? But Lambda Delta-san saved us. If we had given up, if we hadn't had the strength to believe in a miracle, then I'm sure we would have been erased before help would come.
Well, it's not like I really saved you. More like Burn just failed to kill you properly. Or it might have been just some whim of hers. A miraculous whim from the Witch of Miracles.
You up, girl? How long has she been there? Lambda Delta was leaning on the handrail of the staircase, eating popcorn. She held the cup of popcorn out, but Leon declined the offer. But the Kun told us. He said Auntie Chan made a contract by which she would learn the truth in exchange for her own life.
Going by your conversation just now, that was no contract. After all, living and seeking the truth so they can die is what humans do anyway, right? In other words, Auntie spent all of her life trying to learn the truth. All Burn did was shorten that time to a single instant.
When Auntie Chan lost her hopes and dreams, she stopped valuing her own life. How could she be given hopes and dreams again? What can be done to help her find a reason for living?
Are you asking me? I'm paper, right? Double twisted curly super paper!
Super paper!
I don't understand complicated stuff.
After tossing the last bits of popcorn into her mouth, Lambda Delta threw the empty cup into the abyss of nothingness.
Burn wasn't really pushing that kid to do something she didn't want. She was giving Angie a chance. Or should I call it a choice? Then Angie made the choice she wanted, appeared on the game board, and now in her game against Baba, she's making her own choices again. From the start to finish, Angie's game has always belonged to Angie. Right now, I'm just a casual observer.
So not a particularly enthusiastic observer.
Maybe. It's a play with an obvious ending. So I've decided I might as well take my leave.
You mean you'll stop watching a play just because you think you know how it will end? Even though it might reach a climax you didn't expect? Lambda Delta licked her salty fingers. Then she stared at Leon challengingly and grinned. I know that Angie's game won't end this way. I know about Kun's feelings will reach her. She'll understand that he wants her to live in a better future, and she'll choose that future of her own accord. I'm certain that's how this tale will end.
Huh? Are you talking to me, the Witch of Certainty, and saying the outcome is certain?
That's right. I guarantee it. Auntie Chan's game won't end like this, so please don't leave your seat. We won't leave either. There must be something we can do, and that will surely lead her to a better future. This tale will definitely have a happy ending. So keep watching until the very end, I beg you.
Even though I've already announced as the Witch of Certainty this tale won't have a happy ending?
The definition of a happy ending is something everyone watching gets to decide for themselves, right? For a while, there was a tense silence. With a confident gaze that seemed to be saying, "Are you serious?" Lambda Delta stared at Leon. However, Leon's eyes didn't even twitch. For some time, they both stared into the other's eyes without flinching. Suddenly, Lambda Delta let out a large sigh.
Why is that what's written then?
I don't know, man.
And stretched.
Yeah, like that.
That's terrible.
Well, I have nowhere better to be, so I'll stick around a bit longer. If you get me some more popcorn, that is. I'm feeling like a caramel flavor this time.
If you come to the Golden Land, we'll serve as much as you like. Lambda Delta waved at them with a thin smile. No one was quite sure what this meant, but it apparently signified her surrender in her own way.
Okay, if you guarantee your own flavor of happy ending with certainty, then I, the great Lady Lambda Delta, will stick around for a while longer. See how big my heart is, as wide as Lake Biwa.
That's pretty thin, actually.
And as gentle as the Sea of Japan.
It's a very rough sea.
Lambda Delta.
Please allow us to speak. It would seem she meant it the other way around.
There was some muffled laughter. Lambda Delta is the witch who gives strength to those who possess unshakable willpower. Leon believed in a happy ending, and that certain enthusiasm might have been enough to earn a small miracle from Lambda. A miracle from the Witch of Certainty!
What?
Shocking!
It's alright, miracles don't exist, remember?
They don't. They
You
definitely
better
don't.
not let me get bored, okay? If you do, I'll leave right away.
Burn doesn't believe they exist. Of course. I'm sure Batlakun will be glad to welcome you as well. Leon understood. In order to fight back against Castle, who had taken Angie outside the board, they would need the power of another who was capable of leaving the board. Their last hope was to make sure Lambda Delta didn't abandon this game. However, judging by Lambda Delta's expression as she hummed to herself cheerfully, actually asking her for help was probably going to be a problem. Look, Zeppa! Everything for the first floor down is gone!
What a spectacle, not a sight you'd see every day. How have matters progressed? Upstairs.
Alright, we came here to tell you that.
Hey everyone, sorry to keep you waiting.
They say the door to the Golden Land is opened! Finally.
Let us go. This place will not be safe for long.
Everyone who had been sitting on the staircase got up. To the Golden Land! What?
I was just, I don't know. I guess this is goodbye, Rakenjima the Beautiful.
True. It may be a shadow of its former self, but this is the last time we'll see it, isn't it?
What's with that gloomy attitude? Come on, show me okay. Let's see a happy ending.
Yay. I don't know. Felix, do you want a happy ending or a tragic ending?
Listen, Ben.
What kind of ending do you want? Are you in the burn camp or the lambda camp?
When Ryukishi lets us pick at the end, I want you to know I won't be surprised.
Okay. Fair enough assumption.